Good morning, students, and welcome to week 8 of online learning. I'm so pleased and proud of the work that you've been putting in despite the things that have been going on around us. So without further ado, let's get started with our science lesson this week. So our joke is, why couldn't the astronaut book a room on the moon? Because it was full. Getting at the full moon phase, which we are going to be learning more about today. The title of our lesson today is called Patterns on Earth. This is the first lesson in this unit. We may not get to all of it, but we will get a start. So, do now. What are all the things you think you know about the moon? Take 1 to 2 minutes to write them down on a piece of paper. You can pause the video if you want, but I am going to continue to move on. So our job today, we have TEK 4.8. C. The student knows there are recognizable patterns in the natural world and among the Sun, Earth, and Moon system. The student is expected to collect and analyze data to identify sequences and predict patterns of change in shadows, seasons, and the observable appearance of the moon over time. Then, our objective for today is the learner will identify the 4 primary phases of the moon as a part of a pattern of change on Earth. So, first, we have some patterns on Earth unit vocabulary. Term number 1 is pattern, which is a design or sequence that is repeated. So you can see on the flag that the pattern is that there are black and white squares, and it is every other they alternate colors. So that's a pattern. Then we have shadow, which is an area without light. Usually we cast shadows because the sun or another light source is shining from one side, and then on the other side we have a shadow. So we have the part that's void of light because our bodies are creating that shadow. Then we have the moon, which is a natural satellite that orbits a planet. And we ourselves have a moon here. Now, other planets also have moons, but some planets, like Jupiter, have many, many moons, whereas we only have one. But that one moon plays into a lot of the things that happen on Earth. Then we have a moon phase, which is what the moon looks like at different times of the month. As you learn, there are primary moon phases, which we can see throughout the month, but there are also a total number of moon phases that are more than just the primary moon phases. So Earth is made up of many patterns of change that we can recognize, observe, and predict. There are 3 main, quote, patterns that we will discuss in this unit. Phases of the moon, which is this lesson, seasons, and shadows. Today's lesson, as I said, is phases of the moon. So, phases of the moon, let's discuss. Here's some background information. The moon's appearance changes in the same pattern each month, which is about every 28 days. Moon phases are the changes in the appearance of the moon as you can see them from Earth. So just as we can living our normal day-to-day lives. Then as the moon orbits Earth, only a part of the portion reflecting sunlight can actually be seen from Earth. Then there are about 7 days between each of the 4 main or primary phases. So think about it. 28 total days divided by 7 is 4. So 4 phases. 28 total days divided by 7 days each, 4 phases. Now there are 4 primary phases, but 12 total phases. Today, I just want you to worry about the 4 main phases. So our first is the new moon phase. And as you can see here in this picture, there's not a lot. You can kind of see this little light here at the bottom just barely outlining the moon. So the new moon phase occurs when the sun and the moon are aligned and the earth and sun are on opposite sides of each other. So we have the sun and the earth, and then the sun's rays are shining here. So we see this dark side from Earth. We see the dark side, what we call the dark side of the moon. Again, on opposite sides of each other with the moon in the middle. So in the cycle of moon phases, the new moon is here, and it is the first phase. Next, we have the first quarter stage. It is the primary moon phase where we can see exactly half of the moon's surface illuminated. As you can see here in this picture that's taken of the moon from Earth, the right half of the moon is lit up. So, this is again another picture of what it looks like from Earth. Then we can see the position. So the sun's rays are shining here, and we can see this right half is illuminated. Looks just like this. Our third stage is the full moon stage. You guys probably know this one best of all because this is the one that usually gets the most attention on our news. So this is what it looks like, and it is when the moon is fully opposite of the sun and the earth-facing side of the moon is fully illuminated. So we have the sun's rays here shining. They shine this way, this way, this way. And so our view from Earth is this light side completely illuminated. Completely, just like that. So then our last stage is the third quarter phase. It's when the opposite half of the moon is illuminated compared to the first quarter phase. So the first quarter phase, the right side of the moon is fully illuminated, but then in the third quarter phase, it's the left side because the sun's rays, again, are shining this way, so we see that left side of the moon is fully illuminated as right here. And again, right here, this shows the difference between what you can see from Earth. The first quarter, the right side is illuminated, and the third quarter, the left side is illuminated. And so then once the third quarter phase is finished, it goes back to new moon. So new moon, first quarter, full third quarter. And it keeps going in a cycle, remember, every 28 days. So that concludes the main learning part of our lesson. Your assignment for today is to go to your science lesson in Google Classroom and complete the assignment found under number 3. It involves creating a model of the moon's phases in any different product with different materials that you choose. So complete your lesson MOL as well. You can find it in Google Classroom and the assignment in addition to your assignment. And then your MOL and assignment are both going to count for a grade for this lesson. Then your lesson extension is going to be completing the Patterns on Earth 4.8c extension activity, which is found in Google Classroom. It involves a literacy reinforcement activity. There are more directions on Google Classroom. And then last, our job today was to identify the 4 primary phases, which we did. We had the new moon phase, first quarter phase, full moon stage, and then the third quarter phase. That is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this material, and I will see you next week. Keep working hard.